Hey all, I just thought I'd let you know what you need to do in order to do the starter motor, the tools that you need. Get yourself some WD-40, always useful. Big screwdriver to undo the airbox, the hoses that hold it in place. You'll need a 10mm, a 13mm, just got a smaller screwdriver just for levering a few things. You're going to need an E12 Torx socket for the starter motor bolts. Little pair of pliers to get the front, the air intake off. Got little clips in there. You'll need a Torx screwdriver. I'm actually not sure what size that one is. It's not written on it, but you need a Torx screwdriver to get the HEPA filter air intake out. I recommend one of these, a brake spanner, 3/8 to help turn the nut on the or the bolts on the starter motor. You're going to need a long one of these. It needs to be flexible at the top. It needs to be able to bend right around like that. 3/8 drive. You won't get in there with a 1/2 inch. This needs to be a 3/8 drive. Get yourself a little container, put the nuts and bolts in. A torch, in case you want to see back where the starter motor is and a little bit hard to see places. A brush, just to brush out some dust and whatnot, because you'll find dust and dirt in the airbox and so on. Give it a clean out whilst you've got it all out. A pair of gloves, of course. And it goes without saying, a starter motor. My old one's in there, but you'll need a new starter motor, of course. And a rag to help wipe some things clear. So that's all you're going to need, really, in order to do the job. Not a lot. So there you go. Before you get started, make sure you got all that. Hi there, everyone. I just wanted to show you I'm doing a starter motor on my M3 here, E46. I just wanted to show you there's lots of horror stories out there. People freaking out about doing the starter motor and how difficult it is. It was actually not that difficult. You can look in there. I'll just get myself in here. There's one bolt that goes in there from the back, and one up the top here, just behind this. Now, okay, a little bit fiddly to get to, but to get the starter motor out is not that difficult. You don't need to remove all this. I've seen videos, people saying remove all this. No need to. There's your starter motor wires, obviously off. So all you've got to do, and it's not difficult at all, you take off your air input, for your air box. There's only like a little plastic screw things that go in there. You take them off and this whole thing pops off. Then you can remove your air box. Your air box, obviously take your filter out, your top box will unclip. A couple of clips on the side here, and it's only held in by these two nuts, 10mm bolts. And so once you take the top off, you've got to remove this cover, which goes on this thing here for your headlights. So you've got to remove that because the two bolts go in there for your air box. So you get that out of the way. Then you've got to remove this, where your HEPA filter is. And again, this is pretty easy. There's nothing much. There's a couple of 4 Torx screws, one there and there and there. Once you remove them, this thing lifts off. This, of course, just clips in your filter, and that's your cover, just clips on. So it's pretty easy to do. Take that off. Then, to remove this cleaner tube, this is quite easy. I was worrying about how to get these off, but you don't. You just need to lever it off, pull it off. But before you do that, disconnect the hose on here. There's a hose on here. Instead of taking it off here, I've just popped the hose off. And there's 2 nuts. One there that you've got to undo. They're 10mm. Once you've got them undone, you remove the clip on here to hold the hose that goes on here. And this thing lifts out. Happy days. And once you've got that out, you can then, of course, and that's where your 10mm nuts go to hold the plenum tube in, box, whatever they call it, and you've got access to the starter motor. Pretty easy, really. And then, of course, you disconnect the wires on the starter motor and you're there. That's it. And lift the starter motor out. Job done. And so here we are back again. Here's my starter motor. My old one that's a bit questionable. Obviously a bit rusty and so on. Caused me a bit of grief. Got a nice new one here. This one's a high torque unit. that I bought. And so I'll show you how easy they go in. So here we go, quite easy. Just position myself over the car and you just simply lift this baby in like this, and there's a pin here you've got to get your starter motor onto, and that's it, in place. And then you do your nuts up and you're done. Of course, do the reverse, do your wires up and everything like that, but that's how simple it is. See, I've just popped it in without removing any of this. I've seen videos on YouTube, people saying got to remove all of this and so on and so on. You don't need to. So there you are. I'll put the phone down now whilst I do up those nuts. Oh, by the way, the nuts, whilst I've got it, where are they? Are these things here? Torx nuts, E12 they are, and you will need, to get it done, you need one of these, nice big long leverage, and you need a very flat top bit, 3/8 inch, in order to get in there. If you use a 1/2 inch or something, you won't do it. It needs to be 3/8 of an inch or smaller, or even a spanner, because you don't have a lot of room to work. And that's really it. Once I got this tool, there you are, there's your Torx socket. Once you got this tool, you can get it out. And that's it, really. So I'll just put the phone down whilst I put the nuts back in and do her up. Hey everyone, here's a little tip. I used one of these, a 3/8 brake line spanner, to kind of do it up, because you push for space. One nut, you can, I don't know if you can see, is right down there. You can see it at the bottom there, and the other one is around this side. Can we see it? Lift that up out the way, is over there. So that one's not so bad. It's this one up here that's a pain. So it's very difficult to kind of like do it with your fingers. So just get that in there, because you're lacking space in order to kind of do it very, very slowly. You can only get sort of like quarter or half a turn at a time. So use that to kind of do it up, and then just get out of there, and then use this to tighten her up once it's done up. So that's the only pain. So really, there's not a lot of tools to do the job. There you are. Be back in a moment once I've nipped her up. Hey everyone, there you go. This gives you an idea of the sort of space you've got. Not much at all doing up that nut. So there's that one, and the same with the other one. Got to get down here and get her on there, and which is why you can't see very well, which is why you need this angled wrench and a nice long handle, so that you can get some torque on it. All right, just to give you some idea. Okay then, all back together. Here's another quick little tip for you. Once you got this out, highly recommend giving these a washer. Give the whole thing a washer, because dust collects in here, and you'll probably find a bit of mud and crap collected in the bottom there of these two. So I just took it under the tap and just gave it a wash out. Doesn't hurt whilst you got it out. Make it all nice and clean.